Hello, welcome to the Darkrast podcast, number trace, I believe. Today I've got Blatnick, Dominic,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, because it's spelled with a Q, so I mean it's like it could be Eek.
Yeah, it's technically supposed to be, but I don't like that.
So I mean it's so easy to just adjust and just say Dominic, like
Yeah.
you just it's shorter to me.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. But I like Dom because one of the first things that I told you when I met you was that, cool, now I know somebody and can feel uncomfortable when my firstborn son comes into the world.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to name my kid Dom, and I'm like, how dumb is that? That I know you now, and that fucked it up.
Didn't fuck it up.
But now I guess, I mean, my baby unborn son will just be a hero like you, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
But yeah, I immediately knew that you were going to be on the podcast just like regularly because I love talking to you.
Yeah.
But I had this weird thing where I wanted to space out some of the people that I talked to most often so that they weren't all like back to back.
Yeah.
But technical problems and whatever the hell happened, and so here we are.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
me and you talk games all the time, and so I wanna kind of like, I don't know, I guess talk like life with games, as we do in our separate video chat that we have, like our private video chat that we do.
Yeah.
But like what got you into gaming just in general? What's your origin story?
Mostly just my dad was playing games all the time, so it was just like what I grew up with. It's like my mom's got a picture of me at like 2 years old, sitting in the bedroom in front of the TV, nothing but a fucking diaper on, playing a fucking video game.
That is so crazy, because that's like pretty common, is what I'm gathering, is that people were influenced by their parents. Like episode 1, Taylor for sure.
Yeah.
I think Nate as well. Or wait, no, Nate played privately in a bedroom, and I think that's when he got more into it. But I can't remember with his.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's so cool that you grew up with that. So like, does your dad still play games?
I have no idea, honestly. I think he just recently got an Xbox One. But he works the night shift, and during the day he babysits the kids, so. And they're like
gotcha.
5 years old now, so he's got his hands kind of full.
Yeah. Those ages can like I've got in-laws, and my brother's got kids of like all the way up to 15.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, that's crazy. But anyways, so like, what did you guys like co-op stuff? Did you just play stuff in front of you? Like when you were a kid, like what games were they? Because I played platformers and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It was mostly just him kind of playing in front of me, and then if he wasn't home, which was a lot, I would just play whatever he had. Like, I think some of the bigger ones were like Need for Speed, Most Wanted, just sports games. He had a couple NBA games and a football game, whatever, and just watching him play and not being able to play made me want to play whatever he was playing.
Right.
So I was like, I'll just.
No, that makes sense, because I was throttled by my older brother.
Mm-hmm.
So like he was the older brother, and I believe it was like even his system. Like we had a Super Nintendo at home.
Yeah.
And so if he wanted to play, then I think that he influenced what I wanted to play, because I'd watch him do it, and I was just like, that shit is so awesome. Look at this older person playing this shit in front of me. So it's like I got a little bit of it from him.
Yeah.
But I got like way into games when I got into a different house, got my own TV and a PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
And so that's when I got really into like Crash Bandicoot, Jack and Daxter series, later some Final Fantasy stuff because I met some people at school that introduced me to that. So, like, when did you lock in that you were like this gamer person? Because it's a huge hobby for you, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think after he left, like him and my mom split up, he left the PlayStation. I think it was a PlayStation 2 or the original Xbox, one of the two. And he left that, so I would just, come home and start playing whatever. And I think it really locked down that that's what I wanted to do all the time.
Dude, PlayStation 2? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh my god. What a system to start with.
Oh yeah, for sure. That was great.
I mean, one of the best systems of all time. There's so much to play.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I mean, it had cool features like DVD playback, which was pretty revolutionary. It had a really cool CD player aspect to it,
Yeah.
which was also very, fit the time. Like, everybody was still purchasing CDs regularly. Like, there was CDs in malls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that CDs are now fading out.
Yeah.
Like, like not even cassettes and shit, like CDs.
Yeah.
But like, so where did you? I went to GameStop with $20 and would go home with 3 cheap RPGs or something like that. Like, where did you get your games? And when you were playing on the PlayStation 2, like, what were the biggies?
So I think we were getting our games. It was just my dad would kind of go out further, doing whatever, like going over to his friend's house to play or some shit, and he'd come back, like they'd go stop at GameStop or some shit and buy a new game. I didn't really go with him too often. But I think it was like, as I was growing up, when I started playing a lot more, it was the Xbox 360. And we'd go to Walmart. Anytime we'd go to Walmart and be like, Mom, can I get this $20 game? The cheap shit from 8 months ago.
Yeah.
So I would get most of those. That's mostly where I got all my games.
Dude, do you miss that?
A little bit. I still kind of like, if we go to Walmart and I go and look at video games, I still look at the $20 section, like the old stuff, and it's like, man, I already...
I look at games, I would say, like, actually 3 out of 5 times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When I go to the grocery store, I know exactly what's on the shelf. It's never surprising. But I just always wander that way because I always remember, just begging for fucking games. Like I had to beg for them, and then now I'm an adult. I have disposable income, and it's so accessible. Like, it's a good thing. I think it's dope that you can like just touch your phone and own anything.
Yeah.
But the scarcity back then was pretty cool, being a kid without your own money, and every purchase is impactful, even if it's a shitty game, because you're like kind of more informed as to what you like.
Yeah.
It's crazy though.
Every time, I think it was almost every single time we went to the store, it was like, me and my little brother would be like, Mom, can we just go look at video games while you and my sister go do the rest of the shopping? She was like, yeah, go ahead. So we'd always just go and wander through the game section. We'd look at all the new stuff, never got any of it, and then we'd just go look at the cheap stuff. We were like, yeah, we can play this.
When you and your fiance, I don't know why I have to say that word like an asshole every time, but
I do too.
it's fiance is just like, it's a goofy word to me. I want to skip from girlfriend to wife. Like, I like those two, but fiance I just don't dig.
Yeah.
I still like calling Carissa my girlfriend, and she'll correct me, and I'm like, you're still my girlfriend. You're both now.
Yeah.
You just weren't the other thing before. But when you and her are at the store, like, how's she about that? Like, does she look with you? Does she get a little hype, or is she just like off in her own section?
Usually when we go, we're just going to get a couple things, and I'll be like, is it cool if we go look at this real quick and whatever? And so we'll go. If we go look at games, usually she'll just kind of look at not the games, but like the extra stuff. So like any of the, like Walmart has this new little keychain. It's an old arcade machine that has a bunch of games
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
Like, she'll look at those and stuff like that. But usually she just
So
kinda
everything
gets on her phone.
around the games.
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, Walmart, I'm like pro big companies as far as like services offered. Because like Walmart's got so much dope shit
Yeah.
in the electronics section, man. They have the coolest like movie packs and like little tacky game things and stuff. Like there's not much, but what they have is usually pretty cool. Yeah, Carissa, she dips in. She's nowhere to be found if I'm in the electronics. She takes that as an excuse to go do the same thing for her brain because she's just as like retail happy as me to just kind of be like, God, it feels good to have the options right in front of me.
Yeah.
I think it's just us wanting shit forever, and then now we're adults, like, and now we're just like, it just feels kind of nice.
Yeah.
Shop a little bit casually.
Yeah, when I first started working, I was getting 1 or 2 games a paycheck because it was finally my money. We were living easier. We didn't have to pay rent. We were still living with our parents and whatever. So it was just play money at that point.
I fucking love those days. I blew it all.
Mhm.
I spent all my money on video games.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
Like I bought
going
systems
crazy.
day one, every time. When I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But anyways, so fast forward to now, like I don't know, where are you at with the gaming scene? Like, what's on your mind? What's your favorite stuff? I don't know. I just think it's like interesting because I see what you're playing, but maybe the answer is different than what you're doing. Like maybe your mind's more focused on certain genres or something. But like I don't know. Where are you at with games right now? Like, what are your habits like?
Well, recently it's just been Modern Warfare 2. Just coming back and playing through that again. But usually it's like there are a few racing games, mostly shooters, and then like a couple RPGs.
You're kind of like a high octane player. Like
Yeah.
you play fast stuff.
Mhm.
So it's like it's not. Do you fuck with platformers and stuff like that? Like do you play Super Meat Boy, Mario, stuff like that?
Not really. I used to play. I used to have, I think, Super Mario Brothers 3 for my Game Boy.
Yeah.
And I played the fuck out of that all the time, but I haven't played a platformer since Rayman Origins. My little brother wanted that.
You know what's weird is I was
Walmart.
thinking Rayman because it's faster.
Yeah. Yeah, he had been watching videos on that for a while, and that was one he wanted to get. And I had some money, and there was nothing that I wanted to get, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just get this. And
Right.
since it was co-op, I was like, we can just both play this one, whatever. And it was okay, but it was never anything that I wanted to play by myself. That was just kind of something to play with him.
Yeah. I like that you take time to like kick it with your brother and play some stuff online because me, you, and him were playing Halo when we got into Halo 5 for just a second, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he jumped in with us.
That's super fun, man. That's cool that you're. Is that like a driving force as to why you like shooters and racing games? Is because of the cooperative elements that are in there?
A little bit. When back when we were living with my mom when we were younger, it was we only had the one console, so I always tried to find stuff that I could play with him, so that I wasn't just like, well, I'm gonna play a video game. You can figure out what to do with yourself. It was like I wanted, because of the way my dad was, it was always like I'm just watching him play, and I wasn't getting to play very often. So I was like, I don't want to be like that with him. So just I think cooperative stuff was easier for both of us, just so that we could both have a good time.
For sure, man. No, that's cool too. Cause with me, it's weird because I'm kind of I struggle to find like a deep interest in cooperative stuff now, but before I loved it. Like, I loved playing with somebody, and it was kind of why I think games like Modern Warfare 2 and Halo 3 and Bad Company 2, is that right? Battlefield Bad Company?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But playing those games was like, it was, Gears of War for sure, because I actually played that with my brother, which was the only game that we beat together.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So it was like heightened by, like the social aspect of it. And then I shifted into MMOs and met up with people online to form guilds and stuff, because like my immediate friends kind of dissipated over time.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while, I just didn't want to fucking play those. So right now I'm like wondering, like, I don't know what to play or to dive into to be more social as shit, because I'm still kind of greedy. Like, I want to play single player stuff right now, or like just work on my own goals. But then I want to play with other people too. But like, do you play solo pretty often with like shooters and that? Because you play almost every night, right?
Not really every night, but it's pretty common for me to play most nights. I got more into single player stuff than co-op, I think, overall, just because it was like having the shitty relationship with my dad and whatever, and it was me wanting to play something to be by myself. So it was like
a little bit of escapism with it.
Yeah. So like playing Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas and stuff like that was my favorite.
I'm so jealous of you with those, like, for to sink your teeth into something that's just so digestible.
Yeah.
Like, the Bethesda games are phenomenal for that. Like, I remember one of the biggest binges that I went on was Final Fantasy VIII, because it was kind of my cherry pop experience for JRPGs, and is that a gross thing to say? I don't know if that's a gross thing to say. It probably is. But anyways, that was kind of like whoa, look at how much like narrative can go into some of these games, because I was only playing like very gamey stuff before that, like Crash Bandicoot, a platform heavy game with no story almost.
Yeah.
And so playing Final Fantasy VIII, I was like I really got into it, but I couldn't fully understand everything, because I didn't have guides, I didn't have like a computer with the internet, anything to like really connect me to information, so I felt a little lost, because other kids like did JRPGs, I think, in the Super Nintendo era, so for my age group I was just kind of like behind. I was like, I don't get it. But if I was playing Skyrim, oh my god, dude, that would be the best fucking game to escape into for, shit like that, because I mean, I'm kind of the same background as you as far as like parents go, to where I was always provided for, but emotionally maybe not to the level that I could have enjoyed. But so I escaped into games. I had basically my own little apartment, as I call it, because I had like a couch and a TV, and I just had all the fucking time in the world.
Yeah.
You still there?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, sorry. With the internet, dude, I always get worried and stuff. But well, let's shift over to another thing I wanted to ask you about, is like, what got you into? Because me and you digest like video content, I think, in a really similar ways. In that we latch on to a few people, and then we kind of spiderweb from those people into all these like fun little quirky categories and stuff online. So like, what kind of got you into that? Is that more of the same thing of just kind of like what got you into comedy, and what got you into the certain entertainers that you follow, is what I'm trying to ask.
Fucking growing up was like, I fucking love making people laugh. I love laughing. I laugh all fucking day.
Yeah.
So I think once, like after junior high, after leaving the friend groups that I was in, I wasn't taking in as much funny shit, so I would turn to YouTube and whatever. Like, I remember, like, a couple friends introduced me to Gabriel Iglesias, so I watched him for a while. And then, I think comedy really was more recent, like the last couple years. When I first heard of Joe Rogan and when we got Netflix, I think was the biggest. So it was like Joe Rogan was on there. There was a buddy at work that was always talking about Tom Segura, so I checked him out. And
he's my favorite for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
See, and that ring of people you follow is like the same that I follow. So it's interesting that Netflix brought you to that, because I listened to like other less funny comedians before that, and then like later as things got more accessible, I was like, this shit's way better. I'm gonna listen to Tom Segura. And then, you know, like last week I watched Burnt Crystals. Bert, what does he say? What does Segura call him in his special when he's talking about like the fat on Disgraceful, the fattest man? And does he say burnt crystals?
I think he says Bart Chrysler or something like that.
It's funny as hell. But you know, I watched that, and that whole ring, like kind of the snarky, in your face comedy that's a little bit like offensive and abrasive and shit, like Bill Burr, Mark Maron. And all those guys and stuff. But so like, do you go through and watch like extra stuff from them on YouTube and stuff?
Yeah, Tom Segura and Chris D'Elia are the two biggest that I was watching on YouTube, because Chris D'Elia has a bunch of good sketches that were just like quick bits out of his special that people were uploading on YouTube, and they were fucking hilarious. Like the drunk girl impersonations.
Oh my god, that's how I discovered him.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. And then for Tom Segura, I found his old, just some of his old skits that he wrote, like the 9 Inches one about Bobby Brown or whoever the fuck it was, and the Governor one. Those are fucking amazing.
Oh, for sure. Everything that guy does is funny.
Yeah.
Like, I watched, with Chris D'Elia, we saw him at Wise Guys, and that kind of gets you in the mood, right? Like, you go home and you're like, I'm going to watch this guy all fucking night.
Yeah.
And so I remember going through all of his, is it the Comedy Club? Is that what it's called?
The Comedy Store? Like
Comedy
the big
Store?
one?
I think. Whatever it was. The Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
That's the one. So he's got tons of YouTube bits about the Laugh Factory. So I watched like a fuckload of those.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Tom Segura, it was like there was less stand-up, I think, other than like specials that were uploaded. But with Tom Segura, I liked watching his interviews, his DJ Dadmouth stuff on TV that he would do. What is it where he tells his like overdose story?
On This Is Not Happening, the Ari Shaffir show on Comedy Central.
Right. And so, you know, there's like a lot of extracurricular stuff like to the stand-up for both those guys. So I'm kind of the same. Like, those are probably my two most searched people.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, fuck, man, I don't know where to go from here on this stuff. Like with like what brought you into the podcasting scene? Was it those entertainers?
No, it was more Achievement Hunter from YouTube, or Rooster Teeth as a whole. Back when I first got Payday 2, the video game, for whatever reason I liked listening to someone was taking the Rooster Teeth podcast and taking bits from it, like the funniest parts, and just making compilations out of that. And so I would listen to those while I was playing video games, and that was the start.
So you would listen to that while you were like playing shooters and, well, I guess whatever. You play a lot of stuff. I keep on like pinning you as just this like shooter frenzy guy, but it's just because you're good at them and you play them often.
Yeah.
Dude, that's nuts. Because video games got me into podcasting too. It was the One Up crew, which is a fucking bummer. Because like right when I start to like stuff, I swear to God they just quit.
Yeah.
And so like the One Up Oddcast, it wasn't like the best podcast, but it was really interesting to me as somebody that was kind of like just kind of peeking into the more legitimate video game journalism scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so I chased all these like journos, and then I learned about my brother and me from a coworker, and then from there they were involved with more game stuff, and it just kind of like blew up from there, and I found all these like different game shows to watch, but then I didn't for like a long time. And then all of a sudden, like, the Game Grumps made a podcast, H3H3 made a podcast, and everybody just kind of started doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's super fun because there's this, like, massive archive of all these old shows to dig through from people like Tom Segura, and even, like, Chris D'Elia's got, 80-something episodes of, is it Congratulations? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a bunch of those ones. Those ones are weird because he does it by himself.
Right, but the clips that you share with me from that are hilarious.
Yeah.
Like him riffing on Eminem
shit,
to me
is so fucking funny.
And then he's like tweeting about stuff saying like people aren't referencing his fucking name even though he's pretty famous. Like he's like, I'm famous enough that as you Google this shit, you'll see my name with it. So like, because like one article said like some bloke riffs on Eminem and makes it funny, and he's just like, why is not my name there?
Yeah.
But dude, he's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
It's so goddamn funny. Like, dude, I always like I throw all my ideas at you. Like,
Yeah.
some of this is just me projecting for any people listening, but like I throw all my ideas at you all the time of anything that's going on with me. Like, this podcast was slow baked after me telling you that I was really wanting to do one for like 2 months straight.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so with me doing stuff like this and getting all like excited and shit, because I'm like, man, I like all these other people, so maybe if I try and I experiment in these categories, then I'll kind of like figure out my groove with shit, and I'll just kind of have another outlet for like the energy that I get from, liking stuff, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we use the internet to project like all of the social shit that we can't do in the day-to-day.
Yeah.
So, anyways, what I'm getting to is with me and you having so many like common interests that we share, do you get this creative drive from that and like have this energy about that stuff, especially as like a Rooster Teeth follower?
Mm-hmm. A little bit, yeah. There was a while there that I just wanted to make fucking videos. Like I was taking clips that I was saving on my Xbox, and I was making fucking little montages with those and shit.
Yeah, I saw a few of those.
But it wasn't anything huge. Like, I wasn't trying to start a podcast and shit.
Yeah, well, podcast to me is the new blog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anybody can do it. It's extremely easy to do and accessible.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I don't know, because when I listen to this stuff, it's like, I don't know, man. Like the first time Legolas saw a bow, I was just like, that one. I like that shit. That's for me. That's what I like. But I'm having a weird time like figuring out my place in it, because there's just so much fucking going on right now. Like everything's easy, everything's being done everybody's kind of interested in inflating themselves somehow. So I'm like, I don't know what my paintbrush is. Like, I've kind of, I've gone, I'm going to carry this analogy far. I went and got some canvases that are all laid out, and I got the fucking paintbrushes, but I just haven't begun, you know? Like,
Yeah.
like I have the equipment, I have the kind of brain structure around being productive and stuff, but I don't know my groove yet. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if that was like relatable to you at all.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I've wanted to do something with video games in the form of like a video or something, but before it was like there wasn't nearly as much accessibility as there is now. Like on Xbox, I can capture on my Xbox One X, I can capture up to 2 minutes of gameplay at a time just from pushing a couple fucking buttons. And there's an app on the Xbox that I can edit those clips with and put them together and whatever. And I think not having the ability to do that for so long kind of was like, well, now that it's here, I don't really have the motivation to do it. So being around you was helpful.
Do you get intimidated by the people that we like a lot? Like, me and you were both big Donkey fans. Like, do you see his shit and you're just like, how did the fuck do you do that? How do you compete with somebody that funny?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's fucking rough.
Because I think that I tried one time. Like, I legitimately edited for a week straight. I had this Final Fantasy VIII footage because I was really hung up on, like, going back to nostalgia and just digging into what the fuck that game was. Giving it some more attention because I don't retain a lot of details about things, as you know. I'm borderline dumb. But I could not get to a comfort zone of, okay, people are going to understand this joke, because it was too intricate. Like, I couldn't make funny jokes, obviously, and it was like acting in that way, such like a scripted way, I just couldn't be funny with. I'm like, I don't get it. I feel like I enjoy talking, and if I'm comfortable and we can get into some weird zones, then comedy just kind of happens. Because, like, I don't think I'm funny now. Like, since you met me, I don't think I'm a funny person. But I think I was, because me and my buddy Jeff would just hang out and just talk about fucking random weird shit all day. We just entertained ourselves.
Yeah.
But I feel like I just tangented like 4 days. I lost where I was, but I just don't know how to compete with these giants that I'm inspired by. And I don't think that I want to, is another thing. Is like, out of respect, I don't want to share that space. I don't want to just copy someone.
Yeah, for sure.
So that originality is pretty fucking hard to find, don't you think?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially Donkey shit. Like, he just came out with that video about fucking dolphins. It's like, how do you go from reviewing video games and shit to making a video about dolphins where everything you say is a lie and it's fucking hilarious? Like,
absolutely, man.
He opens up with, "I'm Morgan Freeman." Like, what the fuck?
I haven't watched that one yet, but I was like, I think that's the only one, because didn't that just drop like yesterday or something?
No, it's been out for a couple weeks now.
Jesus.
It's fucking amazing. He starts it out with like, dolphins were first invented in the early 1800s by like European settlers or some shit to protect their ships. It's so fucking funny, dude.
See, I think the hard part wouldn't be like getting into that headspace. It would be putting it out, you know? Like, I think getting weird would be a lot of fun if you were feeling good and maybe even had some like buddies you were gaming with and shit. But then actually sticking it to paper and delivering it as content, it would like, I would overanalyze it. I feel like I'd be like, I don't know if this is good enough. I don't know. That's just me though. I'd be too self-conscious to hit donkey status.
Yeah. Yeah,
which is whatever.
Yeah.
So, dude, how's being a daddy?
It's cool, dude. It's weird. Like, it's not something that I ever thought about up until we started trying to have him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Because you're
great.
21, right?
Almost. I'll be 21 in January.
So you're 20.
Yeah.
And how long have you and Cheyenne been together?
We've been together 3 years, almost 4 now. Well, not
Dude,
almost. Just over 3.
That's so fun. And you guys have some of the best chemistry I have ever fucking heard. Ever. Like, anytime I'm messaging you, you guys are always in each other's business and having a blast, though. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing, is you're always, like, rolling with each other. And it looks like just such a functional fucking relationship, so.
Yeah.
Where did you guys meet?
We didn't really meet, but we knew of each other in junior high, 9th grade. So I was like 15 in 9th grade, I think. And then we started talking, I think through Facebook when I was like, I don't even know, like 17 maybe. And then...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you put feelers out on Facebook, like, as a single guy your age?
Not really. It was... I think Facebook was more just entertainment.
Okay. Because that's how I view Facebook, but when I was using MySpace, I mean, it might as well have been like a dating service, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I tried to meet interesting people, and if I was single, obviously, I was just like, she's cute, click.
Yeah.
And then me and Carissa dated for like 2 weeks, a while, like a year or something before we actually started dating seriously, and we started talking again on MySpace, and so, because she was in a different state.
Yeah.
And so we talked online, and and then we switched over to, like, you know, long ass phone calls into the early AM and that whole thing.
Yeah, when me and Cheyenne first started talking, it was like, we were just texting, and it was like all fucking day, nothing but fucking talking. So.
Dude, that's so cool that you have a little family now too, though, because you're fit for it. I mean, you seem like super good parents.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, what's the journey been like, though? Tell me, I don't know, just spiel about being a dad, because I'm super interested in it.
Yeah, it was fucking... There's a lot of, like... Especially now, I just kind of look at him like he's fucking figuring shit out on his own. And there's nothing that we can really do to help him with that. Like, him learning to crawl, like, is blowing my fucking mind. It's like he just started scooting around on his own, and now he's learning how to get up on his hands and push his knees up under himself and shit like that. But, like, there's a lot of scary shit too. Like, when he was first born, the doctors were thinking that he ingested some amniotic fluid, and in his sleep he was kind of throwing it up and gagging and was acting like he couldn't breathe. So the first couple nights in the hospital, I had to stay up with him all night and just make sure that he was fucking breathing.
Oh yeah, I bet you're, like, terrified as a new father too, just like looking down and you're like, what do I do?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You just gotta go to the professionals, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
That's such an interesting thing to say first, though. It's just the fact that he's beginning to understand the world around him, and that you're just witnessing all of it and kind of being there to participate in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like,
Does that make you nervous? Just because, I mean, like, me and you both have dad gripes. With our backgrounds, like, your background, does that make you nervous?
a little bit, just because I see a lot of him, a lot of my dad, in the way I act. It's like I'm a grumpy piece of shit all the time, and so was he. Like, it wasn't always a blast to be around him.
You're not a grumpy piece of shit. You just use verbiage that isn't common. Like, you cuss a lot. You express yourself in that way. But I mean, I've never gotten grumpy piece of shit out of you the whole time I've known you.
Yeah. I mean, like, mostly at home. Like, I get more irritated than I should with shit that shouldn't be irritating. Like, we went when we were living in the house in West Valley, and we were coming up here to hang out at my mom's for a little while. Like, I was in a shitty mood, just had a bad day at work, whatever, and we went and stopped and got coffee, and then we got to my mom's house, and I dropped the fucking drink. That pissed me off. I picked it up, put the lid back on it, came in the house, and then I fucking dropped it again. And I was fucking pissed, dude. I was livid. I was yelling and fucking throwing shit. No fucking reason. Like, I shouldn't... There's no fucking reason for that. Drop the fucking drink.
No, that's where you're wrong. I think about this stuff every single day because I'm an angry person. Like, I totally picked up some traits from my mother of, like, just irritability, you know? Yeah. But the more that I understand it, me and Carissa just talked about it, like, just today before this recording, and I was just like, I'm sorry that I bring life's frustrations into the house, and that's my outlet for it. But it's like, you just let your walls down, man. Like, it's your comfort zone. So where are you going to express those feelings that you're trying to protect from people that you're told deserve respect? You know, like, when you're out and about in front of everybody, it's like, you don't want to take it out on somebody that's totally just nothing to do with you. Yeah. So you come home and you act like a grumpy dick. Yeah. Like, life's frustrating and hard, and it takes a while to figure out how to wrap around those emotions. Like, most people don't ever figure it out. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's so funny, though, that you're like... the introspection that just happened. Like, I think that's why you shouldn't be afraid. I'm going all like fucking therapist on it. How dumb is that? But it's like, I think that's why you shouldn't be afraid, is because you are so tuned in and self-aware of shit that is obviously red flags, like yelling, screaming, anger, composition of just yourself. It's if you're aware, I look at Tom Segura's like disgraceful bits, a couple of them, even though they're quick jokes, is pretty real. Like, if you want to be a good dad, don't fucking leave. Yeah. Yeah. Don't abandon your child, and that's all you have to do.
Yeah, just stick around.
He's like, this shit's easy. Yeah. And then I also think that his second bit about that being like that you're obsessed with yourself, and so a little version of you is obviously going to take some of your attention. Yeah. I think that's a pretty cool realization, because if you can think that, if you're like, look at this guy's a little version of me, and he's going to be obnoxious and a dickhead too. Like, I don't know. There's something in the category of like self-acceptance there, I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's fucking hilarious, dude. He's getting this like little bit of personality that's coming through, and like, you could see when he's getting mad, like if we're tickling him too much or some shit. He starts getting frustrated. It's fucking hilarious, dude. It's like, you've already got an attitude, goddamn.
That's funny. Does he, is he a crier? Like, does he cry much?
Not a lot. Just when, like, if he's really hungry or really tired, he gets kind of fussy. Yeah. But most of the time, he just kind of hangs
he's
up.
Still, how old is he right now?
He's just over 6 months.
Oh my gosh, that is so crazy.
Yeah.
That seems like it was yesterday that was happening, man.
It's crazy.
That is so cool. But, I mean, I ask about the crying thing because I'm so fascinated by it. Because I'm like, I know that babies cry because they're trying to communicate in the only way that their little dumb brains know how. Yeah. But it's like some kids freak out.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't know if it's medical. I don't know if it's parental. I don't know if it's genetic. You know what I mean? It's like, I have no idea.
I think a lot of it's parental, honestly. Like, you can't just let them do it. There's
Right.
like, you can't let it happen, but you also can't, like, punish them for doing it because it's what they know. So it's, I don't know, just kind of keeping them in line.
Yeah, for sure. So what are you like? What are you looking forward to most as he grows up? Have you thought about
Um,
that?
I don't know. Probably just like, what is he going to be interested in? Like, because I know growing up for me was, I was kind of looking to my dad for shit, but he wasn't really around. So I had to grow up quick. Um, I was always taking care of like my little brother and shit, and uh, taking care of my brother and sister and whatever, and um, didn't really. I don't feel like I had the time to kind of figure myself out. So
Sure.
I wanna be around for being able to see him figure himself out. I think it'd be cool.
Don't you think it's going to be a little bit of like a double action thing going on to where because you feel that way, like as he processes information, like you're going to attach values onto that same stuff?
Yeah, probably. I think like we've already kind of been doing that with like when we go to the store and we're looking at toys and shit. It's like, man, I can't wait to buy him this shit for fucking Christmas and birthdays
Oh
and
my
whatever
God.
and shit like that. I fucking love it, dude.
That's the part that I would have no problem because I was the kid at Walmart that would go. No, yeah, it was Walmart. It was actually a whatever store had coupons. Like we shopped everywhere. We only went to town like once a month or some shit. So I always tried to go because my mom did it all at once. Like she worked graveyard shifts, was fairly unavailable, so she made sure the house was taken care of. You know, like
Yeah.
no box left unchecked. Shit was clean. Shit was organized. Shit was put away. We were fed. We had stuff. Everything was taken care of.
Yeah.
She was very, very sure of that. And that's where, to go off a little bit into like why I'm ornery and irritable and shit like that,
Mhm.
is because that's the mindset that I totally picked up. Like I'm way organized. I'm way tidy. My bills are paid. My phone calls are made. Everything's taken care of. And then I'm irritable. Like
Yeah.
that's the drawback is that I emotionally am still figuring shit out, but on paper productivity level, I'm fine, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she'd get all the groceries, and I would sneak in purchases into the cart. Like I would fucking, cause she never just held her ground, dude. She's such a pushover. I'd grab a game, $20. I found good deals. It's not like I was dropping expensive stuff in there, but a little cheap, like $15 game or something.
Mhm.
And then we'd get to the checkout. They're putting it on the lane, on the belt, and then she's like, "What is this?" She'd get all pissed off, and I was like, I don't know. It's a really good deal. Like, please, it's
It's a
awesome.
good deal.
And she'd be like, she'd just look hella irritated because like, how dare I do this now? Like, I'm about to leave. I want to get shit done.
Yeah.
And then she put it on the belt and get it done. But it's like because I was just so taken care of on stuff like that. Like I wasn't like ridiculously spoiled, but I was spoiled.
Yeah.
I would love to do that for a kid.
Yeah, for sure.
Like toy shopping would be so fucking fun.
Yeah. We're going through looking at like Nerf guns and shit, and I'm like, oh, this is fucking awesome. I want to get it for Jackson.
See, I think that's something that YouTube has taught us all, is that like Nerf gun wars and toys and all that stuff, like just have fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just get weird with stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, that sounds so fun. That's a cool thing.
Yeah. I can't fucking wait.
What about like, do you and Cheyenne like disagree on stuff? Like as far as like interests and things go that you think are going to be like conflicting? Because you guys seem like just pretty good with everything.
Yeah, we're pretty good. Probably video games, because it's like, you're just kind of sitting, you know. It's not like you're doing something active.
Yeah.
But I'm always talking about, like, I want to play games with him and shit, like, be the dad I didn't have, you know, being interested in the same shit and being able to kind of teach him shit like that. But I think she's like, well, I don't want him to be just inside, you know, hanging out like that sort of thing.
Well, what was it, like, that same time that we were playing Halo with your brother, like that day or the next day or something like that, when we were sending video messages back and forth, you were playing catch in the yard?
Yeah.
And another time you were, like, fucking trying to find a runaway toad that was in the lawn somewhere.
Yeah. Fucking turtle.
Pet toad. Turtle.
Jesus.
That's what it was. Yeah, turtle.
Yeah, that was a blast.
Yeah, see, you're too involved with stuff to, like, have any of those concerns come to fruition.
Yeah.
For sure. Because I'm like, I'm very pro gamer because I understand all of the emotional tie-ins that go along with that territory. Like, whether or not all the gamers are talking about it, the escapism, it's not really... Okay, that's a bad word. Like, escapism is a thing when you're younger, I think. But as you're older, it's your hobbies, it's your interests. Like, it's a whole industry that spawned a billion little niche pockets of information that you can, like, extract from.
Yeah.
And so you can just fucking discover yourself, like, through video games. You can learn about the world around you and how humans engage with each other just by design elements. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, a storyline can be hugely impactful on a worldview.
Yeah.
Do you think that?
A little bit. I don't know that I've, like, thought deep into it like that, but it makes sense.
I take everything too deep. That's just how my brain operates. It's like the armchair philosopher within me just wants to figure things out.
Yeah.
But man, that's just cool. So what are you, because I asked Taylor this because he's hitting the point of getting married, and yours is on the horizon now.
Mm-hmm.
Any excitement as far as, like, I don't know, just the difference between being in a couple or in a relationship and then, like, versus being married for you? Or do you think it's going to be pretty seamless just because you guys already act married?
It'll probably be like that. Like, we're already pretty, I don't know what the word is, like, we're really together. Like, going through bills and shit, whatever, and shit like that. I don't think there's going to be too much of a difference. Just the titles.
Dude, how did that happen? How did you guys go through such a rapid maturation process? Like, how were you just so figured out? Because, I mean, even for just some casuals that might hear this stuff, I think that's kind of... I always think relationships are super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think about mine often, just to try to keep, everything in check and make sure that I'm doing my part and, not fucking everything up. So, like, how are you guys so smooth? How has this all been so easy going?
I don't know. I think it's probably just because we got together toward the end of high school. So it was like, we're already picking up, like, after this, we're going to have to work, and we're going to have to do, pay bills, whatever, look for our own place, that sort of shit. And I think just as that started, it was like, it was me and her. Like, I graduated high school with her.
Are you guys the same grade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, getting our own place and having to figure out how to not spend money on everything we wanted. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think everything just kind of was like, it was me and her. So.
Right. So you just leaned into each other pretty heavy for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I think me and Carissa were ready to move out at 18. Like, we were ready to at least get, like, the lifestyle of independence, even though we've both had to kind of go to our parents for certain things over time.
Uh-huh.
Coming right at it, because she's 1 year younger than me. So I was out of high school. She was graduating high school. So we started dating as she was a senior for the whole year.
Yeah.
Talk about jealousy. That's not a smooth, that's a weird one.
Yeah.
Not being around a whole bunch of fucking horny teenagers and just sending your beautiful wife in there. You're like, no, your girlfriend. But, I don't know, man. That's just it's just interesting that you guys both were leaning into each other and then just taking care of everything so well. Because me and Carissa, I would say that we're totally locked down on everything adulting and relationship wise that like really matters as far as us being successful at it.
Mm-hmm.
But the beginning wasn't very easy. It was hard, man. We were pretty emotional people.
Yeah. Yeah,
So.
I'm kind of the same way. Like, she's had to deal with me being all sorts of fucked up because of my dad. So.
Is she like patient? So like you're the active one and she's like the more patient one, or is it kind of like both?
We're both pretty active on shit. It's like, it gets kind of frustrating.
Oh, yeah. I think anything's frustrating in that category. It's just like having an issue is just frustrating to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, man. Is there anything that you wanted to like hit before we wrap up on this that we didn't talk about? Because I kind of just walked through video games, comedy, and relationships. I mean, it was a pretty broad stroke.
I don't think so. I think we fucking nailed it.
Yeah? So if there's one video that will make someone laugh, what would you plug today that they should go watch and laugh at?
Something I found very recently. It's a Rooster Teeth show called On the Spot. It's like a game show. And there's this guy that's been kind of affiliated with them for a while. This kid, Zach Anner. He's got a cerebral palsy, and he is one of the funniest fucking humans I've ever seen in my life.
Is he the treadmill guy?
Treadmill.
Where he's like super positive?
Kinda. I don't know. He's got a few YouTube videos about like valuing yourself and shit like that, but there's a best of video on YouTube, and it's just him making fucking jokes. And it's so fucking funny.
Dude, if it's the guy that I'm thinking of, he's hilarious, and the first one that I saw was him on a treadmill, and he's just like talking all this positivity as he's doing it, and it's like he doesn't have like a little bit of palsy. Like, I don't know if it's a quantifiable scale, but I mean, like it looks like it's hard for him to, do something like a treadmill because of it. And so that's like the point, is he's like, I'm doing this and you can do it too. Like,
Yeah.
and he was funny as hell about it. I'm wondering if that's the same guy, but that's a good one. That's a good recommendation. What's his name? Zach Adder?
Anner. Anner. Yeah, dude, he's fucking one of the funniest bits out of that video. It's like 40 minutes. But he's on the show, and the host goes, all right, we have another little thing to read, and he goes into an ad read about your credit score. I think it's Credit Karma or some shit. And he starts the ad read, he goes, what's the most important number in your life, Zach? And Zach goes, 17. And he goes, it's not your age, it's not your phone number, it's your credit score. And everyone else in the room, even the fucking broadcast team, is fucking dying, dude. It's so fucking funny. 17.
17. Dude, I love like room energy like that. I think
Yeah.
that's, like, me and you are the same like that. Like, you follow Rooster Teeth, I follow Game Grumps, and we just, like, we feed off of that fucking crowd. They bring in such good people, too.
Oh yeah, for sure. The
That's awesome,
Achievement
man.
Hunter guys are my favorite because it's just so natural with them. Like they've been doing this shit for fucking years, and they actually just celebrated like a month ago the 10-year anniversary of Achievement Hunter.
Really?
Yeah, and so
Wow.
like
Good for them.
hearing them reflect on shit, like Gavin from the Slow Mo guys talking about how he got his start at Achievement Hunter was editing a video of everyone doing a VidMaster challenge in Halo 3, and he's doing commentary for it, and the entire video is him talking shit about one of the guys that hired him, and they green lighted the video, and so that's what they went with, was like, yeah, look at Jack, he's died 53 times, what a fucking piece of shit. Like, it's so funny, dude. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
And even still today, they're like, Gavin, you fucking idiot, like just yelling at each other, and it's fucking amazing.
Ah, dude.
It's
I
awesome.
love that stuff, man. That's like the new age like Seinfeld throwback episode when you get to do that reflection.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, it's been fun. It's been casual. It's been 1 hour of talking on purpose, so I appreciate you for hanging out with me, man.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
And then, yeah, everybody, if you want to follow Dom, I'll throw a social link into the description of wherever this is going to be posted. And is it Domby Zombie most commonly? What's your most common one?
I don't know, it's all over the place. I'll send them to you too, because I think Instagram and Facebook are the same. And then I have the YouTube channel that has 2 shitty little videos on it, but it's another different one, so.
2 badass videos, man.
Fucking Destiny montage and a Battlefield montage. Nothing crazy.
Those are the best kinds of montages.
Hell yeah, dude.
But anyways, I'm going to drop the mic here. Thanks for coming, Dom. Thanks for listening, people. Website's not really too hopping, but if you want to go listen to this via an embedded YouTube video, which would make no sense because you're listening to me say this in this direction would be silly, it's darkrast.com. And with that confusing statement, I'm out.
See ya.